יהי רצון פרשת יתרו, מעמד הר סיני, יהי רצון שהלימוד לרפואת כל החולים, ובתוכם טניה בת הודה מרגלית, יוסף יאיר בן אביב וחווה, הרב סיוון בן סימה, לאה בת מטל, בתוך כל שאר חולי ישראל. About 2.5 weeks ago, I started to give a shir about tefillah. And one of the kids was a little bit excited, so we'll call him Rabbi Israel. So Rabbi Israel walks over to me and he says, Yair, are you going to inspire us? That was his anticipation for a shiur called tefillah. That the teacher should walk in and inspire the students to daven. Really, on a certain level, he was really asking for Ma'amad Har Sinai. Ma'amad Har Sinai was that moment of the greatest inspiration you could ever imagine. There are no questions, there are no doubts. Some people question, am I in the right profession? Some people question, am I going to the right yeshiva? Some people question, am I a good parent? Am I a good spouse? There were no more questions left in Har Sinai. Hashem said, I believe in you, and therefore it is very obvious that we are inspired by the fact that Hashem says, I believe in you. But the Sfat Emet looks at this experience and asks a very simple question. What's the point? For a very simple reason. I have been on many hikes and many tours through the land of Israel. I'll walk in the old city and they'll say to me, Yair, over here was a soldier that was 10 years old that was taking ammunition from one house to the other. With all the hikes, I have never been to a hike to Mount Sinai. No one cares. It was really strong and so irrelevant. So what's the point? But on a greater scale, says the Sfat Emet, if 5 minutes later they do Chet HaEgel, then for what do we need Har Sinai for? Yeah, it may have looked good, but what was the point if then 5 days later, whatever it was, they said, Ele Elokecha Yisrael, and maybe it was 3,000 people, maybe it wasn't everyone, but at the end of the day, if one person after Ma'amad Har Sinai wakes up in the morning and looks at a golden calf, and says, Ele Elokecha Yisrael, then what's the point? So often, whenever there's a tish, a lot of people will say, don't go. Why? Because tomorrow morning you're not going to be at Minyan, so then don't go to the tish. And they're really asking the same question, the Sfat Emet. If you had that inspiration at the tish, but tomorrow morning you're missing Minyan, then don't go to the tish. Says the Sfat Emet, so then let's not go to Har Sinai. So, the question of the Sfat Emet, if Ma'amad Har Sinai was a momentary experience that will never happen again, then what's the point? And the second is that let's say you want to say that that momentary inspiration is meaningful, but if right after there's Chet HaEgel, then for what do you need this for? But here's where the Sfat Emet intensifies the question. And he says, B'Shabbat, yesh shvita. We know the older we get, the more we love Shabbat. The world gets faster, the world gets more complicated, but Shabbat is bliss. But on the same level of Har Sinai, says the Sfat Emet, what's the point? What are you, playing a game? What are you, faking yourself out? You're resting, and you're with your family, and you're having a great meal, and you're eating amazing cholent, and you're having chicken soup, and at the end of the day, you're going to run out right after Shabbat, and you're going to run into your school, and your business, and your hospital, medicine, whatever you're doing. So then what are you playing this game for? Why do you need Ma'amad Har Sinai? Why do you need Shabbat? And in a very simple answer, says the Sfat Emet like this. Ki behar Sinai ba'u bnei Yisrael el ha-shlemut. Ma'amad Har Sinai was not relevant. We were not going to live on that level, we were not going to stay on that level, and we might have not been long-term inspired, but what did happen in Ma'amad Har Sinai says the Sfat Emet, Ba'u el Shlemut. They got a glimpse of perfection. They felt for a minute what real inspiration is. And yes, tomorrow it's not going to last. And true, this might not prevent Chet HaEgel. But what it will cause is a memory of a realization of what is perfect, what is bliss. And if I know that there is Har Sinai, then everything changes. Because if you do not feel perfection, if you do not feel the sweetness of your home on Shabbat, if you didn't have your grandfather put tzitzit onto you when you were 3 years old and take a picture with you and show you the beauty of the mitzvah, then you have nothing to look forward to. I just came back from a run with my ninth graders, and at a certain point I saw that the majority of the students were all the way in the back, and about 3 or 4 were running in the front having a great time. And I stopped all the ones in the front and I said, there are 2 ways to run. You can run by yourself, or you can run with someone else. When you run by yourself, at the end of the day, there's no image of perfection. But when you run with someone else, you realize and you feel that there is a dream, that there is a mountain, that there is Shabbat. And if you have that feeling, then whenever you're struggling, you have the strength to struggle. But if you do not feel perfection, then when you're struggling, all there is despair. So what was the purpose of Ma'amad Har Sinai? What did we need that experience for? And the answer is that sometimes we need to be able to stop in order to remember, very simple, that in the essence and in the depth of everything is perfection. And if I feel that there's perfect, and if I know that there's something called Gan Eden, and if I've experienced Shabbat with my children, and if I've ran through the streets of Yerushalayim in the marathon and seen 50,000 people running, and if I've stood in moments of Yom HaZikaron in Israel feeling that every single person realizes that I don't want to just live for myself, those moments are significant, not for that moment, but for the ability it gives you to have strength to overcome every single struggle. Shabbat Shalom.